Good morning, Carrie. I'm Taya.
And I'm Aiden.
Welcome to CTV News on this Thursday, February 23rd, 2017.
Hey Taya, do you know what was going on in the world 72 years ago this week?
I don't know what was going on 72 minutes ago, much less 72 years ago. Why do you ask?
Well, back in 1945, one of the bloodiest battles of World War II was taking place in a small island in the Pacific Ocean called Iwo Jima. Nearly 7,000 Americans lost their lives fighting the Japanese on the island. About 18,000 Japanese soldiers were killed during the 5-week battle.
Wow, how do you know so much about that?
My great-grandfather was there. Here's my mom, Miss Passerello, to tell you more about him.
So my grandfather, Gordon Ward, was a Marine veteran who would tell stories. He was one of the few vets that I have ever met that actually was very willing and very open to telling stories about his experiences, and he happened to be in a lot of different battles, the most famous of which was the one on Iwo Jima. He landed as a Marine. He landed on the first day with his battalion. Within the first 24 hours, they had come across a whole lot of enemy firepower, and he was unfortunately injured about a day, on his second day on the island. His leg was severely damaged and almost amputated. Fortunately, though, he was able to survive. He was in a body cast, and he was put up on deck to take a look to get some open air, because he was on a ship at the time. They had evacuated them off the island, and all the surgery was done on a local ship, a big aircraft carrier. And when they put him out on deck so he could get some fresh air, he happened to be looking at the time and saw the flag actually getting lifted, which is a pretty iconic moment in American history. I'm grateful that he was alive, obviously, and even more grateful that he was willing to share his story with us. He continued sharing his story, and he would go to the Iwo Jima Monument every Saturday up in Washington, D.C. It was one of his favorite things to do, to educate children and other adults as well as to his experiences. And so he would be very proud for you to see the clip that is about to be shared with you.
I was with the 4th Marine Division.
The Fighting 4th.
The Fighting 4th. I was a rifleman, primarily. That's the riflemen, of course, are the frontline boys. They're the ones that first make contact with the enemy. I went to Iwo Jima. I was 19. We were in the first wave on the landing on Iwo Jima. We were in the first wave on all the landings, as a matter of fact. That's where they usually put riflemen. But they really let loose with a tremendous barrage there definitely after the first hour. I didn't last long. That's the whole thing about Iwo Jima. I was just there 24 hours. It was the roughest day of my life, the longest day of my life. I guess it felt more like a month, although it was one day. A shell hit, I don't think it was more than 3 or 4 feet from me on my right side, and blew my leg. I thought it blew it off, but it was a horrible pain, something that I had never experienced before or have experienced since then. And I crawled until my elbows were raw almost from using my elbows to crawl. And suddenly somebody picked me up and put me on a stretcher, and I passed out. And as I passed out, I said goodbye. I thought I was dying. I said goodbye to my mother, goodbye to my father, and goodbye to my girlfriend that I had, that I wanted to marry. I figured I'm going to go someplace, maybe to heaven, I hope. Somebody grabbed my leg and pulled me up and put me on a landing craft to take me to a ship, any ship, I guess, that's out there that would receive wounded people. And I woke up and found myself in a body cast with my toes sticking out of on both sides, and I think that was the first time I cried. I was so thankful to see I still had my leg. And they rolled me out on the deck of the ship, and one of the first things I saw, one of the ambulatory type patients on the deck of the ship yelled out, "Hey, look, they're putting the flag up on Suribachi." And I looked up there, and in that distance, I saw that flag go up. I have a lot to be thankful for. This is a wonder. I said, with all our faults that we have, and we do have some, but this is the most wonderful country in the world to live in and to fight for.
The video you just saw is actually new to me as well. I had only seen it for the first time a couple weeks ago. This is his way of sharing with everyone else the stories of how he faced in Iwo Jima, as unfortunately he passed away shortly after this was actually taped.